going to be a test of the PMDG 737 updated to the latest version. I think like on takeoff I did feel a lot of differences, so I'm just going to test it on landing. We're on final to runway 13 at Des Moines. Getting down to 3,000 feet and going to do an ILS approach into Des Moines today. I think I do have it on RNAV for now, but let me just take a look at the METAR. We have a few clouds at 4,500. The airport is at 1,000 feet, so I'm just going to reset this. And once that's done, we're pretty much set up for landing. Overhead panel looks good to me. So I think since we are on the RNAV, we can just fly this manually without any flight director as well. The reason why I prefer RNAV right now is because the cloud base isn't that high. So, and the winds are like 160 at 11, not too bad. I've flown like on much higher winds in the Zibo 737, so I'm used to flying high wind approaches on the 737. However, it is a little bit harder on this airplane, I guess. The handling, it's something that I'm trying to get used to. I'm gonna see if the RNAV approach is not something you always prefer when you have clouds, but I just want to do it because I want to keep my hand flying skills really good, my visual navigation skills as well. So that's the objective. So we got to be at 3,500 feet at the next waypoint, Wati, and then you have Clive at 2,600. 1.7 nautical miles to runway 13. We have another waypoint which is like on the glide path, which is a normal 3.3 degree glide. Around 700 feet per minute looks good for our final approach speed at 2,600 feet. Slow down to 210 knots. So I don't know why, but I think this one needs a bit of work, the bank angle selector. So that needs to be like something that can be rotated, but I'm unable to do it right now. So that's something which I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong, so I have no idea about that. So so at 200 knots, let's just get to the flaps 1 speed. Get flaps 1 out. Flaps 1 speed 180 knots. I'm just gonna slow down a little bit early because this airplane, it struggles to bleed off speed. It's not like the A320. So we do struggle to bleed off speed on this 737. So I'm just getting down to a slower approach speed. So let me just get down to we can intercept this directly. 110 and even yeah. Gonna fly this manually once we get through these clouds. I really feel that I need to get my hands on this and get used to flying manually. That's the most important thing, right? Because the CRJ is a joy to hand fly, that's for sure. The 737, I'm just getting used to it, so I guess it's probably on me. Let me just get the autopilot off for now. And okay, this is looking worse than I expected. Should have gone for the ILS. I'm still not visual. Yeah, guys, this is not ideal. I'm having some vertical reference. Lateral guidance, yes. A little bit of lateral guidance as well, but not as much as I'd like. Gonna get auto brake 3. Gonna set my approach speed. I think missed approach at 3000. Yep, I'm visual on the runway. We're a little bit off course, so I'm gonna do a quick course correction. Yeah, so the plane does feel good and better in pitch. I wouldn't say like it's completely good because so there's a bit of like sharp pitch response up, which I do need to get used to. Like there's a strong element of like pitch power coupling associated with this airplane, so that's also something. But if anybody who can get used to the CRJ can get used to the 737. So the CRJ is a lot harder to hand fly, and it was something that I got used to. So I think the 737 is also, it's not as difficult, to be honest. I don't see the poppy lights at all on this, so I'm just going to maintain one. We're exactly on course vertically, so 1500 feet at the final waypoint, 2 miles out from the runway. I'm going to maintain 700 feet per minute. We're doing a good decent speed, like 5 knots above the VREF. That's the kind of margin of error I'd like to have with these winds. So we have a bit of a headwind. I'd like to keep it like about 5 to 8 knots because of the 10 knot headwind. It's not too heavy, but we still have a bit of a headwind. Love the smoothness, love the frame rate on the 737. Gonna get my, so these trees, man, like that. So we're a bit high. So this thing put me a bit low. I mean, no, we're a bit low. So we were a bit low on the approach. So this is like the issue with having like flying a visual approach when you've never.
10. You know what they say. A good landing is a landing you can walk away from.
Yeah, that was a bit of a hard landing actually. But I don't know what was the landing rate. I think we can just find out, of course. We're gonna find out. So auto brake 3 feels like auto brake medium on the Airbus, so that's like the equivalent. I think auto brake 2 and 1 are pretty much closer to low. Hardly any deceleration at all, so that could have been good. So we landed at 250 feet per minute according to the Volanta landing rate calculator. So has to be yeah, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's pretty decent, I'd say. I'm gonna take the next left onto the terminal. The airplane certainly feels much better on in the pitch axis for sure. Roll axis is also pretty decent. Overall, I feel like I did some calibration on my yoke as well. So keeping the sensitivity at default, uh, it kind of helps. Don't keep everything 100% linear. So I'll just showcase my control setting a little bit shortly after we get to the gate. The APU online. Yep, everything looks good up here. Yep. So the ground handling is still kind of weird. So I don't know if we can get this much. I'm using my rudder to steer, so we're getting a lot of authority with the rudder. So this is like a lot of authority. So on the Zibo 737, I never used to get this much authority. I don't know if it has to do with lighter airframe 737-700, but I don't know how that would really affect the yaw response this much. So would these guys move, or should I like taxi through them? Yeah, they're moving. So 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 the tiller nose wheel steering is not as effective as the rudder. So that is extremely weird for me. So I expect very less authority from the rudder at the back and more authority from the tiller control. But it seems kind of off. Seems off. I don't know. Okay, let me just go to the wing view real quick. Let's just. So another thing is that the parking brakes shouldn't activate without your toe brake pressure, right? So that's kind of weird. Okay, APU power online. Packs off, packs on the APU. There you go, both engines off. So I think I'm happy with the pitch control response on this airplane now. It's just that it flies different and you need to be used to it. I mean, it's like fair game, right? If the airplane flies different, you got to get used to it. So that's how it's supposed to be. Oh, guess what? I forgot to turn these on. Did I? Yeah. Weird. I don't know. So the window heats were off throughout the flight. That's a bad idea. Anyways. Alright guys, that's about it for this video. I think I'm going to be streaming again, but that might be a full flight, maybe a more comprehensive overview of what's changed in this update. Thank you so much.